Why do small changes in slope affect linear equation graphs? Imagine you're looking at a straight line on a graph. Now, think about what happens if you nudge that line just a little bit. Does it stay the same? Or does it change how it looks? Even tiny adjustments in the slope can make a big difference in how the line tilts and where it points. This is because the slope tells us how steep the line is and which way it goes. When you change the slope slightly, the line's angle shifts just a little or a lot, depending on how big the change is. A linear equation in slope-intercept form is written as y equals m times x plus b here. M is the slope, and b is where the line crosses the y-axis. If you change m, you are changing the steepness of the line. A bigger slope makes the line rise faster as you move from left to right. A smaller slope makes it flatter. If the slope is positive, the line tilts upward. If it is negative, it tilts downward. When you make a small increase or decrease in the slope, the entire line tilts a little more or less. For example, changing the slope from 1 to 1.1 makes the line rise a little faster. This means that for the same horizontal distance, the points on the line are higher. The shape of the line changes, even though the point where it crosses the y-axis stays the same unless you also change the y-intercept. On the other hand, if you change the y-intercept, the whole line shifts up or down without changing its tilt. So, small changes in slope affect how steep the line is and which way it tilts. This is why even tiny adjustments in the slope can make the line look different. It affects the angle and the overall direction of the line, which can be very important when you're trying to understand relationships between variables. In real life, understanding how small slope changes work can help in many areas. For example, if you're measuring how fast a plant grows over time, a slight change in the growth rate affects the graph's steepness. If you're designing a ramp, small slope adjustments can make it easier or harder to walk up. In economics or science, tiny changes in the rate of change can tell you a lot about trends and patterns. So, to sum it up, small changes in the slope of a linear equation make noticeable differences because the slope controls the line's steepness and direction. When you tweak the slope, the entire line tilts more or less, changing how the points are spread out along the graph. This helps you see how variables relate to each other and makes graphing these relationships easier and more accurate.